Welcome to this space where love is true. Open hearts and minds, there's a place for you. Gather round together, let your spirit play. In this community, we'll find our way. Every soul a story, a journey to unfold. Seeking out the wisdom, the truths of new and old. We release our fears, let the light shine bright. In the warmth of our spirit, we ignite the night. Arise, arise, through awareness we will grow. Taking responsibility for what's mine opens up the flow. Inspire living happens from the inside out. Knowing spirit is all, washes away any doubt. Everyone evolves in their own perfect way. Let us hold hands as we proclaim. Arise. Steps of faith we take with courage in our hearts. Every voice a chorus, every smile a part. From every corner of our city we come anew, with open arms and spirits to embrace what's true. Feel the energy rising, the joy in the air, as we sing our song of love. Let go of despair. Here at the center, there is a seat just for you. Sharing in the laughter while we co-create the new. Rise, arise, through awareness we will grow. Taking responsibility for what's mine opens up the flow. Inspire living happens from the inside out. Knowing spirit is all, washes away any doubt. Everyone evolves in their own perfect way. Let us hold hands as we proclaim. Arise. Together we explore the realms of the divine, unfolding to our potential, weaving hearts sublime. Every journey matters, every truth we share. We lift each other higher, showing how we care. So hold on to the vision, let your bliss lead the way. Live every single moment, let love fill your day. As we rise up together, a symphony of grace. Find the light within us, in the sacred space. So come one, come all, to this place of peace. In our unity, may your worries cease. With open hearts and open minds, let's embrace the call. Within the center for spiritual living, there's a place for us all. Arise, arise, let spirit be your guide. Welcome to your spiritual home. It's so great to be alive. Arise.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living in St. George, Utah. This is our Sunday online celebration. We are really glad you're here with us now, tomorrow, or next week. It's all the same. We're glad you're joining us. We are going to have a special edition this week, and I'll get to that here in a second. I just want to let you know what our purpose is. As you heard in the song, the word arise is awareness, radical responsibility, inside out living, spirit is all there is, and everyone is evolving. And I feel that all the time. So we're glad you're here, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So we'll have our vision at CSL St George. It's a community focus center, activities to living, sharing, and nurturing its members and friends so that all may live their best lives. And we certainly endeavor to do that on a daily basis. So that's really cool. My name is our mission. That's not my name. That's what's next. CSLSG is an open, inclusive, and evolving spiritual community that supports its purpose and vision through these actions: sacred wisdom celebrations, empowering transformative education, youth and young adult programs, dynamic music ministry, community inreach, and community outreach. We're reaching out to you right now. So we're glad you're there. We're glad to be able to share this with you. So this is a list of who's participating today. We've got Bill Smith, one of our practitioners, who will be speaking this today also, but he's doing double duty. He's in the background, and he'll be running the computer and doing all the tech work to make sure that we don't get caught at the wrong time at the wrong spot. Our invocation, and that's going to be provided by another one of our practitioners, Scott Thompson, and those two boys will be the ones offering our message today. My name is Alan Stanley, and it's not the mission. But anyway, I'll be your host today, as you probably noticed by now, and it'll be my pleasure to sing a couple songs with you, and you can just sing right along with them. Our reading is going to be provided by Charles Smith. And that's pretty much it. That little character on the right represents Bill and Scott, and they'll be providing our message here in a little bit. But in the meantime, we'll get this thing moving. I think we might have some announcements to go through before we... There'll be yes, there is a Zoom meeting today on the hour after the service ends. You can go to the website, or if you get the newsletter, it's in there, tell you where to go. Join us. We have a lot, pretty good conversation after that. It lasts 45 minutes or an hour or so. So please join us. And like I say, you can find that on the website. And if you want to, I guess we noticed down here, if you just want to connect with Reverend Joe Kovach, there's how you do that down there, Reverend Joe at CSLSG.org. So that's what that's about. Our next important in-person service is going to be on June 14th. I was made for loving you. Well, that's a good title right there. We might have to work on that one. And the details about that service, dates and times, is also in the newsletter and on our website. So that's pretty easy to get a hold of. We offer prayer requests. Our practitioners are always available. And if you want somebody to pray with you or for you, you can email practitionersforprayer@csl.org/about, and that'll get you in contact with them, and somebody get you in the loop, and somebody get a hold of you, and you all can just get together and share some prayer. So it's always good to share prayer. And the details are also, again, in the newsletter. Make sure you get that and online. We have a bookstore. We're starting back up. Now, that thing we set up when we meet in person, which is twice a month. I think the next time is going to be on the 14th. But we have a table set in the back of the room, and there's all kinds of books that people have brought in and donated and loaned, and you're welcome to go back in there and browse through them. If you see something you're interested in, you can get it, leave a love offering, or borrow it, or bring it back when you're done, but whatever works for you. There's a lot of good stuff back there. So when you do come to see us, which we know you will be, we can make sure that you get back there and see what we offer. Thank you. So there's a lot of community activities going on in St. George. So we've put together this little brochure, so to speak, once a month. And it's available. I'm not going to go through everything on it, but it's available online and on our website. And you can go on there, and it's things of interest for like-minded people like us that you might be interested in looking at. You can see the big main one we got right now is that psychic fair thing, but I think we're going to talk about that in just a second or two. There it is, mini psychic fair. That's going to happen on the 28th, which is our second in-person meeting this month after service, around 12:45. As soon as we can get those musicians to put their stuff up, then we sit down, and there's going to be, I don't know, Bill, can you make that a little bigger for me so I can read a little more about it? But we're going to have special guests. There's going to be card readings, tarot, casting, Reiki. We've gifted intuitive art specialist, which is Sue Fermo, Debbie Barmondi. Reiki practitioners would be Scott Thompson and Laura Buzian. So it's pretty cool. I think it's like $5 to get in it. And then you can get a treatment or a personal visit with these individuals. And I think that might be like $10. So come. But again, that's going to be on the 28th after the service. And we meet at we rent the bottom half of the Masonic Lodge for our Sundays. So that's going to be a pretty exciting thing. So hopefully we get to see you there. I'm just kind of winging it here. Let's see. Oh, somebody's gonna. Oh, that's me. Hello, I'm Alan Stanley. I'm the musician today. You're welcome to sing along. It's one of my favorite Michael Gott songs. Anything about love, I like that. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only there is only love, love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. And I know this voice of love, it is singing in my life. It is all I am, every part of me. It is all I choose to be. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love, love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. Yeah, so I think we've got Charles Smith coming up that's going to offer our reading. Come on in, Charles.
Here I am, Alan. I'm sitting outside in back of my house enjoying this fresh air and the beautiful mountains around on this first day of hurricane season, as you reminded me earlier. Ready to bring some spirituality and mysticism in. Joe and other speakers in our tradition often refer to or often quote Rumi and his poetry. So I decided to do a whole poem that he wrote, a fairly short one, called Unfold Your Own Myth. As in most poetry, he uses allusions to other writings. In this case, he has allusions to the Judeo-Christian tradition as well as Islam. And if you don't get all the allusions, you can still understand what he's talking about. Unfold your own myth. Who gets up early to discover the moment light begins? Who finds his hair circling, bewildered like atoms? Who comes to a spring thirsty and sees the moon reflected in it? Who, like Jacob, blind with grief and age, smells the shirt of his lost son and can see again? Who lets down a bucket and brings up a flowing prophet? Or like Moses, goes for the fire and finds what burns inside the sunrise? Jesus slips inside a house to escape enemies and opens a door to the other world. Solomon cuts open a fish and there's a gold ring. Omar storms in to kill the prophet and leaves with blessings. Chase a deer and end up everywhere. An oyster opens his mouth to swallow one drop. Now there's a pearl. A vagrant wanders empty ruins. Suddenly he's wealthy. But don't be satisfied with stories how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myths without complicated explanations, so everyone will understand the passage we have opened you. Start walking towards shams. Your legs will get heavy and tired. But then comes a moment of feeling the wings you've grown lifting. Thank you, Rumi. Now to Scott.
And thank you, Charles. Thank you so much for that awesome reading about Rumi, one of our favorite go-tos. And Alan, thank you so much for hosting and getting us moving into this state of beingness, right? Hello, my name's Scott Thompson. I'm one of the practitioners this morning that's honored and privileged to share some messages with you and some insight. And along with my partner, Bill, in practitionerhood, we're going to be kind of going over the whole expansion of divine doubt, which is what we've been covering this whole month. And so after Charles's beautiful whisperings of Rumi, I'd like for us to come into consciousness right now, and I'm going to bring us into that space of oneness. Bring us into that divine consciousness that each and every one of us has the ability to access and to embody. And knowing that this one life, this one consciousness that flows through each and every one of us I know that those of you who are watching us today from wherever you may be, and maybe it is tomorrow, maybe it's next month, but knowing that you are in the perfect place, in the perfect space, right here and right now. And the messages that you receive today are meant for you. We know that as we speak from that consciousness, from that one mind, we know that truth follows through, and we know that love is the fuel that moves the truth. And so, as I know that each and every one of us is in the perfect place today, I know that our messages, as they may be, will reach exactly who they need to reach. And knowing that you who are watching us today are in that perfect place and perfect space, and we hold that consciousness for you. Knowing that love is the greatest force in the universe, and we are loving you right here and right now. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is, Scott. Thank you. Got to keep our orders quick. Now we'll see Scott again here just after the song, I think, with Bill, and they'll offer our message. But in the meantime, I've got to do a little maintenance around here. And you're welcome to join me. It's a little Sue Riley song, and it's about kind of taking care of ourselves, I guess you could say. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street, cleaning out the clutter, pulling up the weeds, finding out it's quiet enough, taking care of my own stuff. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street, tending my own garden every day, taking time to stop and smell the roses on the way, planning what I want to be, pruning what's not serving me, tending my own garden every day. I'm exactly where I want to be. Every step I take just moves me closer to my dream. Your grass may be bright or green, that's for you, but not for me. I'm in my garden every day. Well, we'll get it right. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street, digging out the gutter, pulling up the weeds, finding out it's not enough, taking care of my own stuff. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street. Not going to be the one to cast a stone, won't point a finger at my fault, I got plenty of my own. When I talk that judgment thing, it comes back like a boomerang. Not gonna be the one to cast a stone. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street, digging out the gutter, pulling up the weeds, finding out it's quiet enough, taking care of my own stuff. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street. Do that again now that I got it. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street, cleaning out the gutter, pulling up the weeds, finding out it's quiet enough, taking care of my own stuff. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street. Now, I think it's time for our Sunday message, which will be presented by Bill and Scott. And if I'm not right, you're going to find out right here. Well, I'm right. Hello, Bill.
You're right again, Alan. It's uncanny how often you're right.
Oh, no. Can I do more things right than most people do accidentally?
All right. Well, I love that song. I just didn't need the reference to pulling more weeds. I feel like I've pulled enough weeds in this past month for a small army. But appreciate that song. Thank you, Alan. Sure. And we'll get you back on in just a few minutes.
I'll be here.
All right. So I'm going to try to get myself ready to talk a little bit here. So welcome and good morning, St. George and parts around St. George. It's a beautiful day here in southern Utah, and I hope it is beautiful wherever you are tuning in with us today. As Alan mentioned, this is the fifth Sunday of the month, and we're continuing our tradition of what we have been calling practitioners plugged in. Started out as practitioners unplugged, but that didn't sound very spiritual, so we decided to be plugged in. And we've been doing this for a couple of years now, and on the fifth Sundays. Although the tradition remains the same, we have a little bit of a different practitioner lineup this month. Our lead practitioner, Sue Fomer, she's down in Las Vegas at the CSL down there, assisting a workshop with the Reverend down there, and she also wrote a book about some of her life experiences and afterlife experiences or previous life experiences, and she's going to talk about her book with that group down there. So we're wishing her well on her trip. But we are, however, blessed to have practitioner Scott Thompson with us today. You just heard him pray, and he does so beautifully. And I have to say that we're not just blessed with his presence today, but have been for the past couple months. Scott has brought a whole new level of consciousness to St. George CSL and has literally been a godsend to our practitioner corps. He'll be joining us for the second half of the talk, and then he'll close with what I'm sure will be a beautiful prayer. So let's talk about May. May has been all about doubt, divine doubt, indeed. And we've looked at this divine doubt from several different angles and perspectives. In week one, I was invited to talk about personal self-doubt, from an inner perspective. And in week two, Reverend Joe talked about self-doubt from an outer perspective. We've also looked at doubt from a collective perspective. And today, Scott and I will be examining doubt as devotion. As we started this month looking at doubt, I was like, my original feeling was that doubt was a negative, something that could hold me back from reaching my full potential, something to be avoided at all costs. I looked at doubt as something that highlighted my personal limitations or failures, pointing out my shortcomings. But through this month, I've had my eyes opened wide to the possibility that doubt can be extremely useful. Rather than looking at limitations, opening the door to growth and further exploration. Exploration of not only my small self, but taking a closer look at my big self and using questioning as an act of love. So using this doubt or questioning allows us to be curious rather than fully accepting, which is invaluable when we're dealing with a teaching that emphasizes the fact that our thoughts and our actions are powerful and creative. I'd like to start with a personal story, kind of my introduction to Science of Mind. I've shared this story with many over the years, but I believe it shows how I use doubt to open my personal exploration of faith. So let's roll back the calendar to 2010. I was living in Southern California and had a 2004 Mini Cooper. I loved that car, and I'd done a lot of driving in it. I had over 300,000 miles on the odometer, and I often shared that my goal was to get to 500,000 miles in that car. But as cars will do, that one was starting to show its age, and I'd recently had to undertake a lot of maintenance items, replacing much of the electrical components in the car. And then a little bit later, the fuel pump went out and I had to replace it. And I started wondering what's going to go wrong next, starting to imagine the number of ways that car could fail and let me down. One morning, I'm driving to work, and this is just a couple of weeks after I've replaced that fuel pump. I'm driving to work and I'm running 80 miles an hour down the freeway, and the car completely lost power. I mean, dead. And I pulled over to the side of the road. The brakes didn't even work. I had to jam it into an embankment to stop myself. Pulled over, and as I stopped, I noticed that there's flames coming out of the engine compartment. And I barely had enough time to get my laptop and my wallet out of the car, and then it completely erupted in flames. I stood there from a safe distance away and felt the heat and watched my beloved car completely burn on the side of the road. Now, separate from this incident, I had a friend who'd been telling me about her Center for Spiritual Living, which was down in Temecula Valley, and she was actually a practitioner there, and she invited me to attend. And I kind of was putting it off, and really didn't think I needed, that kind of thing. So I called her that day after my car burned up and told her that things weren't really going real well for me. Maybe some spiritual enlightenment might be a good thing, because really something needed to change in my life. So that next Sunday, 5 days later, I attended with her, and we went to the CSL Temecula Sunday service, and I heard Reverend Pat Campbell, who is a fantastic speaker and just so full of energy and humor. She started talking about how our thoughts were creative. And I'd never heard anything like this before. And I realized as I'm sitting in that service that my thoughts had actually torched my beloved car. I had, through imagining all the ways that my car could fail me, I had really created that. Needless to say, I was horrified at the power of my thoughts to create bad things in my life. But I was also excited at learning the possibility of how that same power could create good in my life. So that kind of kicked off my exploration of the science of mind. I immediately bought the Ernest Holmes Science of Mind textbook and just spent every spare minute I had, reading it, trying to understand it. And although I was intrigued by this power, I had a lot of doubt about it as well. I proceeded to question all aspects of not only how I'd led my life to that point, but also question and be skeptical about how my thoughts could change things. Prior to that, I had not had a relationship with God at all. But over the 15 years since that experience, I've used that doubt / questioning / discovery routine to expand. And I would say drastically improve every aspect of my life by deepening my faith. Had I not used doubt as a means of creating opportunity, I wouldn't be where I am here today. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I also look at doubt as a potential for making our primary tool as practitioners, the spiritual mind treatment, really effective. And if you're listening today, watching today, and you haven't had a spiritual mind treatment, I encourage you to take some time, meet up with a practitioner, and do this, because it really can be transformative. But in practitioner training, I learned that there are two different means of creating an effective treatment, either using the affirmative method or through the use of denials. And using a denial to create a spiritual mind treatment involves looking at the current conditions and denying that they're real. It's through this denial, using doubt again, that we can examine our current situation and come to the knowing that this may not be the truth of I am or who we are, and look through using what we call the polar opposite. Know that our desired state is actually the truth of our being. With this doubt / denial examination, we can create a path to achieve that desired state, which is actually our natural God-ordained condition. So thank you for spending time with me today. I appreciate your attention. And now I'm going to turn it over to Scott as soon as I can and find his picture and get him added to the stage here. There he is. Scott,
Here I am.
thank you
Thank
for
you,
that.
Bill. Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
that beautiful invocation earlier. That was really, really, really good. Thank you. So
Oh,
I'm going to
thank
turn it
you.
over to you and talk a little bit more about doubt.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bill. And thank you for that great introduction. And I'm just so honored to be a part of this beautiful community. And I know that we continue to expand our ripple and continue to grow, and that, it takes a village. And I'm so proud to be part of the villages and your leadership as well. So thank you so much. And
I'm just so
Alan and Charles
grateful that
as
you're here.
well. It's the boys club. So, and thank you. So, when a little bit about my process in this. So I remember when I first became exposed to Centers for Spiritual Living. I was, and still am, active in a 12-step program, and I was bringing a fellow member home who lived quite a long ways from the meeting place, and he lived in an apartment complex on a street that was directly across from what became my spiritual home, Centers for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. And I remember I looked at the sign. They had a white sign that said Center for Spiritual Living, and I went, "What is that? What what is that?" It's like, let me go investigate. And so I remember I made a phone call, and the person that I talked to was Mary O'Reilly. Great. She worked for the center for such a long time, and she was Reverend Doug Fogelsong's right hand woman. And I remember I started asking some questions, and they invited me to come to the service. And I remember when I sat, and if you'd ever been to Las Vegas and at the old Centers for Spiritual Living, it was an A-frame building, and it had the old, like, theater style seatings back in the movie days, the old movie theaters with the fold down wooden wooden seats. And I remember there was a stained glass with this Science of Mind symbol, and I sat there and I listened to the service that morning, and I cried, um, and because I had came home. And throughout my journey, which this was back in 2008, throughout my journey, I've learned many different practices. And one of the practices that I took into for today's talk is called contemplative prayer. And contemplative prayer is when you take something, a snippet of something, a phrase, a paragraph, anything of that nature, and sit with it and really ask, what does this mean for me? What is the highest truth of this? And so what I was tasked with today was a deeper faith in a living God. And so I sat with that, this week, and go, what is that? Really, what does that mean? And one of the greatest spiritual challenges is the distance between what we know and what we embody. And many of us can agree with profound spiritual truths. We affirm that God is everywhere and present, and life is good, and life is the creative force of the universe. When I heard the word creative force, my mind went right to Star Wars, because I'm a big Star Wars guy, and that the divine dwells within every person. So I took that and I'm like, wait, so God dwells within me, and God dwells within you. And so where does faith come into play? Because doubt, faith, it's like treatment, as Bill was talking about. When we go into what is the condition, doubt, what is the solution? Maybe it's faith. And so, yet, intellectual agreement does not transform a life. And I'm going to bring that into play, because the science of mind, we learn that truth is merely something to be believed, and it's something to be realized. And part of our treatment states is the realization of truth. When we're in that third step prayer of realization, it's like, I know this is true. I know it. I can feel it. And really, right now, if you just take a moment and you think about something that's true in your life, do you question it? Are you sitting on a chair right now? Is it true? You know, it's like, it's that kind of truth. It's like that absolute, unwavering truth. And we know that it's not merely something to be believed, you know, it's something to be realized. So faith deepens when spiritual practices or spiritual principles move from the head into the heart. And so you probably have heard this and heard it many, many times throughout your life, is that God is all there is, right? That's one of our founding core principles, that God is all there is. And yet life asks us a deeper question. When life gets lifey, and that's what I call it, when life gets lifey, do we live through this as true? When challenges arise, do we trust the presence of God within us? Do we trust that presence? And one of the things that makes our philosophy and faith and ways of science of the science of mind is that we know truth. And we get there and we dig there because we know that the truth is not out there, contrary to popular belief. The truth is not out there. The truth is right in here. This is where truth is, right? And so when challenges arise, again, I ask, do we trust the presence of God within us? Now, there are some days where I absolutely, without a doubt, but then there are those days where I got to dig, and I got to dig really deep to really get to the truth so that I don't become polarized, as Ernest Holmes once spoke in many talks, but in his book about mesmerism, and how I'm looking at the external world and going, wow, we are really screwed up. This world is really screwed up. And guess what? I've now adapted that screwed up thinking into my own thinking. We call it in the 12-step world as stinking thinking. So I get into that thinking thought, and all of a sudden I'm blocking the goodness of God. I'm blocking the goodness of truth that's within me. And when fear comes knocking on the door, do we stand in awareness that divine love is greater than any condition? You know, science of mind teaches us that spiritual principles are not theories. They are laws to be demonstrated. And a principle becomes real when we practice it. You know, just as Alan develops a skill through practice and playing his guitar and able to share messages through his music, you know, and that it's able to reach us and lift us, you know, it's that development of skill that he has attained, you know. And so rather than looking as a theory, if we can look at it as a demonstration of faith, because it's often misunderstood as believing in something without evidence. And in science of mind, faith is better understood as trust in the nature of reality. Think it, and it is. It is the confidence that the divine presence is active, even when appearance suggests otherwise. And that one is where we really get to sharpen our skills. Because make no mistake, life is in session. And we are all the students of life, each and every one of us. And so how we get to that place of peace, into that place of being fearless, takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. And there's no diploma. There's no certificate for that. It's how we show up, not only for ourselves, but for each other. You know, and if we go back to faith, is that it's aligning ourselves with the spiritual truth. We have to be in that truth before we can see the manifestation. As Bill was talking about his Mini Cooper, you know, that was a great story because we're like, okay, this car is going to break down, this car is going to break down, this car is going to break down. And guess what? The car broke down, you know? And so if we go into that consciousness of doubt, we are going to produce what it is that we're thinking. And it may not show up in the way that we're doing it. It may show up in a totally different way. But if we are in doubt, then we can't be in faith. And so we need help to get there. Yes, I said the word help. Even though we are given tools, and this faith and philosophy teaches us ways in how to exist and coexist, we still need another person. We need that other person to remind us of who we are, because we forget. We have great forgetters. And having that reminder, whether it's a practitioner or whether you're tuning in to Reverend Joe or Reverend Rachel, who, last week did such an amazing job with engaging us, with bringing us together, talking and communicating. If you were here at St. George last Sunday, you experienced a very different kind of service. And isn't it coincidental that it was a very large crowd that just happened to show up? See, that's the consciousness that I'm talking about. When we sit down and we're able to talk with each other and really to connect with each other, because that's what we need. We need that connection, because then faith can be built on community. There's no greater wisdom that's operating in my life right now than faith. There's no power that can steer me away from the truth. There is a power that's available to me now, and that none of us are separated from God. And always divine intelligence is guiding our way. So when we be still and know, probably one of my most favorite verses in the Bible, and one of my most favorite mantras that I use for myself, is to be still and know that God is and I am. I have really, really enjoyed this whole month of exploring divine doubt. I remember when I first saw it, I'm going, this doesn't feel very good. And sometimes it doesn't feel good. And you roll with it and you expand with it. And then all of a sudden, all these pearls just come out of nowhere and show us that we are one. Namaste. So I'm going to bring us into the prayer now. And so as we close our eyes, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes with me. And I want you to feel that space within your heart, within your chest. That's your heart. It's your heart beating, circulating, bringing life into each organ. And it needs no help from us. It's doing it all on its own. And so knowing that that heart is beating, I know that that heart is God. I know that that heart and those corpuscles and those veins and everything that is within the human body is all God, because God is. I am. And knowing that we are all in this divine oneness, knowing that as the heart beats, that circulates life through us, that life is being circulated through us always. Knowing that that one consciousness, that one breath, that one beat moves and breathes us. Knowing that the breath that we take in unconsciously sustains our lungs and sustains every part of our body. You see, we are divine perfection, each and every one of us that is watching this and that is present here today. We are divine perfection. Everything is available for us. And knowing that we can move through experiences with the wisdom of God, with that wisdom, with the power and the presence. Knowing that as life shows up, we too show up for life. We meet life where life is. And knowing that that divine wisdom has the ability to transform doubt. And so I know that each and every one of you watching today has that divine power within you, is activating as you, through you. Knowing that anything that may appear to be impossible is not. For we connect to the one. We connect to that one power, one presence. And so for those of you watching here on our broadcast, I know truth for you. I know that life is showing up for you. And that as we move through this thing called life, we do it together. We do it in the consciousness of unity. We do it in the consciousness of love. We do it in the consciousness of truth. For God is all there is. And so knowing that each one of us is perfect, whole, and complete, I know that this prayer is done, finished, and knowing that each one of you are the divine representation of God. And together we say, and so it is.
It is, so it is, so it is, so it is. Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Well, okay. Well, I've got something to say. Without a doubt, I can't express how proud I am to serve the Center for Spiritual Living in St. George with these two fellows. Now, you just saw an example of today what we're all about here in St. George at the CSL. So I'd like to invite you again to come visit us. We meet in person twice a month, and that's going to be picking up, and our Sunday celebrations online. So thank you in advance. I'm looking forward to meeting you when you get here. So thank you, Scott. Thank you, Bill. That was a very great message. So we're just like everybody else. We have to pay the rent, and I think the lights are included. But anyway, it's just like all centers or churches or whatever you want to call them. There's a business side of that deal too, and we need to pay attention to those things. And we appreciate your help because it's turning out to be a very prosperous group of people that we were hanging around with at the center. So there's several ways you can do that. You can participate. You can send through Zelle. You can give online. You can give by mail. Scan the QR code here and PayPal. But I'd like to thank you all in advance for joining us. And we're going to keep on keeping on, without a doubt. So our offering affirmation as we give this is, you can join me. I am overflowing with love and abundance. I give from the source of my being, which is rich and unlimited. With joy and excitement, I share from this overflow. In return, the universe gives back to me in infinite ways, channels, and means. And so it is. So it is. Thank you all again. So I just don't know where we're going yet. So I'm going to talk about our future services. Okay, we got coming up on June 7th. We'll be meeting online again right here, same time, same station. And next one will be Reverend Joe Kovach, who will be talking about I Want to Know What Love Is. That sounds like an old song, doesn't it? Yeah. But anyway, then we meet in person again on June 14th. And that will also be Reverend Joe Kovach, who will be talking to us. I was made for loving you. This could sound like a bunch of country stuff to me. So anyway, we look forward to seeing you there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I just really don't know what to say. So I'm just going to leave. Oh, wait, not yet. Oh, everybody's here. So welcome back, Charles and And Scott and Bill's back in there somewhere, and we're going to play a little tune for you that we like, and then bid farewell.
Each and every moment, I remember who I am. I show up uniquely in the world in the way that only I can. I keep my thoughts clear, I create my own day. I know that there is power in every word I say. I show up, I glow up with every word I speak. I take it day by day and do it all again next week. I am abundant, I am free, I am love, I am me, I am joy, I am the light of the sun, I know who I am, and that we are one.
See
See you next week, everybody. Come see us.
Bye, everyone. See you on Zoom.
14th. All right.
Zoom.
Zoom on in 10 minutes.
You can Zoom in.
Right there.
Thank you.